I'd say of all the athletes I work with now on like mental performance, confidence is king. Confidence is the number one thing people come like, oh, I'm struggling with confidence. You know, I think it starts with the understanding that confidence isn't something you either have or don't. It's something that you build, right? A lot of people, like, we don't really think about how it's built because when we have it, we don't even consider it. And then when we don't, we're sitting there going, oh, I don't feel it. Right. And that's like that ride I was saying of like, you know, when things get tough, you dig your heels in, what ends up happening? You get to work and you're building the things that are building your confidence. And then before you know it, you're kind of in a place where you're just like, it's just there, and it's the absence of it that you're not even aware of. So I think it starts with knowing that confidence is a skill. It's something you build. And how is it built? Through preparation. Now it's what you do in preparation that's important, right? I touched on it a little bit of, you know, I'd encourage all the guys in the room to really think about like, what are the three things they do when they're at their best?
Yeah.
What are those things? Because it's so easy to go into a game and to be thinking about the systems, to be thinking about like, oh, I got to get my feet moving. Like, our brains are useless in a lot of ways. You know, they're really scattered, and that comes down to focus, right? And especially when things go wrong, you have a thought, emotions start kicking you around. The analogy I use a lot of times, like for anyone who's a golfer, you know, when you go when you're out there on the course and things aren't going well, the worst thing you can do in that moment is to try to fix your swing. It's the last time to do that. The only thing you can do is to, hopefully you have one, but stick to a routine of what you're doing and do the things that you do when you're at your best. Yeah, practices for building those things, but everyone, you know, think about what those three things are. When I played, it it needed to be three things that didn't depend on the game whether they would happen or not. Like, it's not like, oh, I score goals. It's like, okay, what do you do to score goals? Because you're not going to score every game. You know, for me as a defenseman, it was like when I go back on pucks, because that's all I do all day, all game, especially the worst teams I'm on, you know, but that's guaranteed going to happen. I'm getting on my horse and I'm getting back on that as quick as possible. That's a non-negotiable. And then when it touches my stick, my feet are continuing to move. That was one thing that I made it non-negotiable that I would do every game. Another one was that no one wins a battle over me in front of the net. That's my area. And I can picture that. It's going to happen every game. That was another thing. And the third thing for me was getting up as tight as I could to the play, which got me involved offensively, but also that was gap control for me. And so finding your three non-negotiables that you bring to every single game, regardless of what's happening, and having those clear in your mind so that, yeah, because it would happen a ton of times. All of a sudden I get out there, I have a shitty first 10 minutes of the game, I get scored on a couple times, I'm feeling like crap. And then I'm trying to, like, the natural response is to overcompensate, right? Then you try doing more. I don't know if that's ever worked for anyone, not sustainably. You know, and then you get into a wicked cycle. Confidence goes with it because you're like, oh, I don't even know what to do. And I think confidence is so tied to the things that make you great. Commit to doing them every time you show up as well as you can, and having that in your mind before every game so that, you know, especially when you get into situations, you know, over time you build more awareness. Shit happens and you find your mind going elsewhere, you know, and you go, oh crap, okay, I got to reset. What are the three things? What am I bringing? This is what I do when I get out there. Because as you do that more and more, you're going to build confidence because you're going to know, and you're going to be married to the things that really make you uniquely great. And it's going to be different for everyone. But it helps you maintain a focus on what's important. And I think it's a really good way to just build confidence over time and just have those non-negotiables with your game.